Monday Night Live. Let me grab my page here real quick and set this up. Everybody excited? I love it. So much stuff coming up, so much stuff being revealed. I'm refreshing my page here, so just give me 1 second so I can see the comments. And welcome everybody. We're going to dive into some good stuff. Okay. There we are. Okay, cool. So, get back to my... All right, here we are. All right. Hey, Gindo. Great to see you. So, Monday Night Live in the United States. It's currently Tuesday for me, here where I am in Thailand. I'm in the future a little bit. And one of the things that's been coming up for a lot of people and people that I'm doing personal journeying with is, hey, Linda, great to see you, is really what this whole journey is about. It's about what is our number one frequency. If you can even think about it like that, like when you begin your day or you're navigating in this dream, because you realize we're dreaming all the time, right? And it's something to get excited about, because when we realize that, we can really begin to consciously begin to take the reins, take control. Okay, so if I'm dreaming all the time, I'm either A, giving away my power and stating in kind of a victim mentality, or not so much a victim. The ego isn't going to like that. It's going to get triggered and react to that. But believing through some limiting program that I or we took on when, more than likely when we were children, childhood conditioning, or when we took on our belief system, that something out there has power over us. 11 viewers, I love it. Great to see everybody, great to be connected. So this is really, really key. So we're either believing with some conscious or usually unconscious program, belief, or wound, childhood trauma, or something that happened to us, that there are things in the external world that are keeping us from being able to be either a happy, feeling safe, abundant, that's a big one, the money program, or we know that we're creating our reality in every moment with our thoughts, our words, and what we are choosing to project, even though we're not really projecting it. That's a word that I use, that to embody, to align with our frequency. And then the frequency that we're holding inside is what the external hologram mirrors back to us. So it's really, really key. So what always comes up for somebody when I'm journeying with them one-on-one, or for myself, doing my own clearing, healing, excitement work, programming myself, is what is my moment-to-moment frequency? What is it based in? What is it rooted in? Because this is really key, because we're either going to be doing this consciously and controlling our dream, which is when it gets really fun, or we're going to be subconsciously running a belief, a program, or a wound, and it's going to just keep bringing those same things into our reality, in our life, in our feelings, in the relationship that show up in our reality, or in our abundance or lack of abundance. It's all it is. It's really simple when we begin to see through just choosing to do self introspection. Can you guys hear me okay? My mic was a little, I'm not. You're right. When I moved my mic, the cable got unplugged. So now you can hear me, right? Michelle, Julie, Susan, sound's back. Got to be back. I know it's back. Let me do a quick little check here. I can hear now. Okay, great. Yeah, that was operator error in the studio. I moved my mic and the cord came out. Okay, so thank you for that. Okay, so getting back on track, consciously setting our default program. So what I've taught myself to do, and what I have everybody do that either goes through the book, Waking Up in the Dream, or does personal one-on-one journeying with me, a big part of it is, well, the first part of getting out of 3D, the repeating things that we may not enjoy, is going in and doing the healing. Or if your ego doesn't like that word because it doesn't want to admit that it has anything to heal, just pacify it, give it some love, give it a big hug. Or just inner clearing. Because again, everything that we are creating and attracting or repelling in our reality is based on what we're holding within. We're magnetic beings. And when we really get this, it can get really fun. It does get fun because then we consciously choose every thought, every word, and the emotion that we're putting behind those thoughts and words. And so the highest magnetic emotions are what? Excitement. It's my favorite one. It's the highest frequency. Excitement contains love, and that is the highest magnetic frequency. So when you go to set your frequency every morning, and you're setting your frequency every morning consciously, right? Right, everybody? Or if you're not currently, you're going to start today, right now, tomorrow morning. This is really, really key, because if we do not program ourselves to set our frequency every day, especially at the beginning of the day when we awaken from what we call the sleeping dream, while our head's still on the pillow. This is really, really key, because if we do not do this consciously, as soon as we awaken out of the sleeping dream, guess what will happen? Those 30 to 80,000 thoughts just start automatically running the program. And maybe those thoughts are ours, and maybe those thoughts are part of the collective consciousness. It doesn't matter. It's still whatever we're running, whether we're consciously aware of it or not, is what we are magnetizing more of into our hologram, our vibrating quantum field reality. So if you guys have any questions around this, please ask them, because these Monday and Wednesday Waking Up in the Dream lives, these activations, they're Q&A sessions, because it's really, really key to ask questions, so it opens up an opportunity for people to understand and to clear things and to ask questions about creating their reality, healing, clearing, magnetizing what we desire into our hologram, whether it's abundance, whether it's optimal health, whether it's like frequencies, whether it's a soulmate, or, all that stuff. And understanding how to do it is super, super key to move out of the repeating 3D timelines where the programming for the lower vibrational 3D timelines was all set up through the school system, through religion, through science, through history, through the media. It's all inverted. Do you see that? It's all been set up to keep people in low vibrational frequency. And you've got to be able to see the program in order to clear it. Otherwise, you'll defend it, you'll react, and you'll judge all the things that you don't like and all the reasons why things are wrong and why you can't have A, B, C. Got it? Judgment is the biggest addiction on the planet. It's not drugs and alcohol. And I know because I was a judgeaholic. I was taught to be a judgeaholic in Catholic school. I was tossed in to that low vibrational, judgmental training school. That was part of my soul contract. And so it was a great, great teaching. In fact, I wrote an entire chapter in the book, Waking Up in the Dream. Chapter 5 is all about judgment, why it's the biggest addiction on the planet, why we do it, and the addiction of why we think we're right or why the ego thinks it's right when it judges, because it feeds off of that trigger. And how is that set up? Anybody have any questions around that? On every weekly broadcast that I do, I have to invite people to ask questions. And it seems like until we get going, nobody wants to ask a question because nobody wants to be in the spotlight. Well, let me tell you, light workers, light bringers, and warriors, they ask questions because they're not afraid to be vulnerable. They're not afraid to bring things into the light. And they understand that it opens it up for everybody. And I want to let you know, if you don't, there's a lot of people watching that aren't going to ask a question. There's a lot of people that see these transmissions that are just beginning to wake up, 9:33, that are just beginning to wake up, and they're just beginning to question things. And they don't always feel safe, so they're not going to ask questions. But the people that ask the questions are the ones that really open it up for other people. And then other people can go, wow, I'm glad somebody asked that question because I was thinking that, but I didn't want to ask the question because I wanted to sit back, and feel safe. And it's okay. I understand. I totally get it. But if anybody has any questions as we go through this, it's really valuable for everybody involved to ask them, because that's why I'm doing this stuff. That's why I'm doing these weekly lives on Monday and Wednesdays in the US. And if people are up in the UK and in Australia, so that people can learn and grow. These are my contributions. This is what I love to do, because really I'm just mirroring Jeff and I'm reminding him, don't forget these tools, because if we do forget them, we can easily slide back down into 3D. And, this is really key stuff. It's truly life-changing. Conscious awareness, raising our conscious awareness, raising our frequency, clearing any wounds or childhood trauma or limiting beliefs are super, super key. And it's very valuable to share this stuff with other people because this is it. This is where we're going as a society. And we must do the inner healing. We must do the clearing. And then the topic of this today is consciously setting our default program. So what is our default program? Is it joy and excitement and abundance and love for everyone, realizing that every single person that we see is our mirror? This is really, really key. And when my teacher, one of my teachers, everybody's my teacher, but when my mentor, one of my mentors, Don Miguel Ruiz, who's the author of the 4 Agreements, The Mastery of Love, Beyond Fear, and The Voice of Knowledge, I became an apprentice of his in 2001. I had an opportunity to be part of the monthly 3-day dreaming weekends. And in order to be part of these dreaming weekends, Miguel was smart. He was like, if you want to be part of the 3-day dreaming weekends where we meet once a month, you've got to commit to 1 year. So it wasn't just, oh, I can show up whenever I want and whenever I feel like it. And, you know, back in 2001, this was a big challenge for me because the cost of the 3-day dreaming weekends was beyond 944 right now. I love it. The cost of the 3-day dreaming weekends was a stretch for me. There was fear around it. Because in 2001 in San Diego, I was living in my recording studio. I was just beginning to build up my business and my clientele. And I didn't know how much money I was going to make every month. I was actually sleeping on a mattress. You weren't allowed to live in these commercial buildings. I'm pretty sure that my landlord knew that I was living there, but I was cool to everybody. And I was, I was down there at night and I was, watching out for the place. There used to be people that would come down, believe it or not, and try and steal batteries out of cars and break into buildings. And I was always there. So my landlord appreciated that. Plus, my studio was immaculate. When you walked in, you couldn't tell anybody lived there. I had sacred altar and beautiful artwork that I did, and it was all high vibrational. But anyway, getting back to the point, in order to be part of the 3-day dreaming weekends, where we used to lock in on a Friday afternoon, and we would stay together all weekend until Sunday afternoon. And the only time we would leave the dreaming center is to go eat. So we were locked in. And I mean, we're constantly looking at wounds, beliefs, triggers. You could get up and speak with Miguel. And sometimes there were other teachers, Barbara Emrys and some other amazing people. And if you had something come up and you were brave enough, I was scared a lot of the time because that's one of our greatest fears, to be seen naked and to admit that we have a wound or that we don't know something or that we've got a trigger or that we have fear. And that's why I invite people to ask questions on these free lives because, my clients invest in themselves to get this one-on-one stuff. And we go back, when I work with a client, I don't really like to call them clients. When I journey with somebody and we're exchanging mirroring and information in these tools, not only do we do a call once a week that's recorded so they can watch it back, they get the trainings from the book, which are PowerPoint trainings and videos, but we also go back and forth almost every single day. Because when you are in the beginning of dismantling the wounds and decades of programming and limiting beliefs and triggers and self-judgments, you don't want to wait a week when this stuff comes up. You want to get at it now. So this is why I also journey with only 4 or 5 people a month, because my plate is full, holding space for these people who put their trust in me to go through this process for 30 or 60 or 90 days or longer. So when I committed to doing the Dreaming Weekends with Miguel and the other people, this was a big step for me, because I didn't know that I was going to be able to come up with the money every month. And I had a friend of mine, a female friend, who I'm very grateful to, and she said, just go for it. And I didn't really know at that time that if I set my intention, the power of my intention, that the money would always show up. But I didn't know that back then in 2001, because I grew up around lack. You know, my dad died when I was 7, and there was a lot of fear from my mom, and there was a lot of fear from my uncle, who was my father's brother. He had 8 kids. So money was always, the story of money was always lack. So I downloaded that. That was my internal frequency. Money is difficult to come from or to come by. And so when I talk about today setting our default program for success, this is really important, because when if I wanted to work with Miguel, Miguel's famous. He wrote the 4 agreements, and hey, he's in San Diego. I have an opportunity, because I live in San Diego, to work with this, famous guy that understands conscious awareness, understands that we're dreaming all the time, understands, even though he didn't really teach me everything in here. I had to figure this out for myself. But what he did do for me, which I'm forever grateful, is he got me to see how the belief system is constructed and how most everyone is simply reacting to their belief system, and they're just recycling and being triggered or benefiting through their beliefs. But in the beginning, until we can see with a completely different level of awareness what the belief system is and how it was created. And here's a big key for most of us. Our belief system isn't even ours. It's not even ours. Our beliefs came from outside of ourselves. Our beliefs came from our parents or our grandparents. My beliefs came from the Catholic school. Judgment, lack, you're going to hell for having any thoughts about sex. Yeah, huge program in religion. Okay, so I grew up around lack. So when Miguel said, if you want to be part of the Dreaming Weekends, you have to commit to 1 year. I was like, oh no, that brought up so much fear. It was like, I've got the money for this month, but I don't know about next month. How could I possibly know about next month? So that brought up all this fear. So luckily, one of my friends said, just go for it. You'll make it happen. Well, I didn't understand the deeper power around committing. 11 people on here right now with 11 comments. Okay, so this all comes back to consciously setting and owning our inner default program. Okay, 12 people, 12 comments. I love it. Synchronicity is always happening for me, and I'm sure it's happening for you if you play with these numbers, because we're creating this reality. So when I make it a point to play with numbers, and I set alarms on my phone to go off, and everybody that I journey with, I have them set 15 to 20 alarms on their phone every day to go off at 9:22, 10:33, 11:44, 12:12, 1:22, 2:22, 3:33, 4:44. They start to see the synchronicity. Why? Because we're creating our reality. Okay? So when my friend said, Jeff, just sign up for the monthly dreaming weekends with Don Miguel Ruiz, I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to 1 year at a time. I'm going to jump. Well, guess what? Every month, the money showed up. Why? Because I committed to it. I committed that I'm worth it. I implanted that in my subconscious. And still at that time, to be perfectly honest, because this is important, authenticity and vulnerability. This is how we learn and grow. If I came on here and told you how great I was about money and I'm such a great manifester, that wouldn't be helping anybody. We've got to understand the deeper programming. So the fact that I lived my entire life up until 2 years ago, almost fluctuating between lack and abundance. And it wasn't until 2 years ago, I finally really got it. And it was like, my thoughts and my words are creating my reality and my beliefs. And so I was still believing that money is difficult. I didn't understand that we're completely surrounded by abundance in every moment. And if you don't think that you are, then I invite you to begin to find everything that you can be grateful for to affirm the abundance that is surrounding you in every moment. Because I promise you and I guarantee you that it is there. Now, if you're not feeling abundant, that statement that I just made, that reflection, your ego just went, well, I'm always broke and I don't have money, and that's not true. Okay? That's beautiful, because what that tells you, when you're willing to look at it, is that you're running a program based on lack. And that's okay, because the gift in that is, and this teaches us to find the gift. Okay? So now we get to go in and look at it from a deeper level, and we get to look at the root. What is the root of why I do not currently have the amount of abundance that I desire to feel safe and to have it as my frequency, to know that I always attract abundance because it's part of who I am. There can be no lack in my life, excuse me, unless I have a belief that there is. This is huge. This is huge. This is priceless. There can be no lack in your life, in somebody's life, unless you have an underlying belief somewhere that life is not abundance. Money is difficult to come by. Okay? I had this my whole life. It was given to me. Okay? So let's go a little deeper. Let's look at why people that always have money always have money. Why is it that some people appear to attract money very easily? Why is that? Because they believe that money comes to them easily. They've installed the program. Now check this out. They might not, 14 people, 14 comments. The counter just keeps flipping to synchronicity over and over and over. Why? Because I'm playing with that. We're playing with that. But I'm the only one seeing the counter. So I'm currently playing with that. And I want to share that with you. Why? Not because I'm cool, because I have it working, because you can do it too. If you apply what I'm sharing. Okay, so why do some people always attract money? Well, when I was growing up, I was going to a private school because my mom, God bless her, she took the money that we got when my dad was killed in a plane crash, the insurance money. She goes, what can I do for my kids to give them the best education? Well, she didn't know that Catholic school, God bless you. My mom's awesome. But she didn't know that Catholic school was programming, man. The religion was giving all your power away to an external God and living in shame and guilt and praying to somebody nailed to a cross. Hello. And giving away your money, hoping that somebody is going to save you. Okay. But what she did do was, she's like, I want my kids to get a good education. Well, I got a great education in math and spelling, which is all I really ever used. History was a lie. Science was, they only told you what they wanted you to know. Okay. You can see the program out there if you're paying attention. So I looked around and I'm like, wow, there's rich kids. There's rich kids and rich families. And I was always like, wow, I wish I could be like that. Well, my point is, in bringing this up, is that the rich kids, they always attracted money. Why? This is really key. Because it came easily to their parents. So they didn't have to work hard to install the belief or the program of money comes easily to me. There's abundance everywhere. Why? Because it was mirrored to them by their parents. So they just downloaded it. It was given to them. Okay? So from my perspective, they were lucky. But there's two sides to this coin. No pun intended. They weren't really that lucky. Because if money comes to you easily all the time, there can be other downsides to it. Because on our soul's journey, there's a gift in not having money, but there's also a gift in challenges in having money and having it come easy to you, because you'll be able to get things that other people can't get, but in your reality. So many people that come to journey with me, they have money. That's not their issue. Their issue is everything else. So don't think that people that have money have everything easy. You've got to be able to see the programs. Okay? So the topic is consciously setting our default program for success. Do you set that every day? And have you gone in and identified any program that's keeping you from having that which you desire in your reality? Are you doing what you love every day? Or are you going to a job for security because now you have a home and a car that you have to pay for? These are really key to look at moving forward, because if you're not in alignment with your soul's mission and purpose, it's just going to keep coming up that stuff's going to cause problems for you. So I'm going to go look at Joanna is the only one that's asked a question. I now spend much more time actually focusing on not judging. Yeah, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Because judgment is the biggest addiction on the planet. I was a judgeaholic. That's why I wrote a whole chapter about it in the book and how to dismantle it. So let's dive into that a little bit, because you can still see on the planet that judgment is still the biggest addiction. How do we end up being judgeaholics? And how do we end up feeling justified? I'm right. They're wrong out there. This is a big program, and if you don't dismantle this one, you're going to continue to drop down into 3D. So a lot of people don't want to look at this one. Why? Because then they got to look at their shit. The ego does not want to give up this program because it feeds off of it like a Pac-Man. Until you dismantle this, judgment is the biggest addiction and it's the biggest source of food. Because why? Let's look at this. Because if you're judging others and judging things out there in the external, then you don't have to accept responsibility that you've still got a wound or a less than program running. Yeah. So this is where we really get into who's awake, who's doing the work. I'm not here to judge who's awake because that's what the ego does. I can see who's awake by their frequency and by how they speak and by how they show up. I'm not interested in judging them. If I have a judgment about them, then I know that the program's still running. I bless them, I mirror them, I love them. I know that they're me. If I see that somebody's not awake, then I want to assist them. Not from an ego perspective, not from going, I'm awake and they're not. That's the ego, that's the trap. But if they're in my field, or if they're friends of mine, or if they're part of my family, or they come to journey with me, I'm going to gently and lovingly offer them a reflection so they can see that what they just judged is their own program that they're running and that it's keeping them trapped. Again, we cannot clear a program that we cannot see. This is why it's so key. So key. So does anybody out there, any of these 11 amazing people, have a question about a program, a wound, a trigger, a lack? Now's an opportunity to bring this stuff up and get free mirroring. If you have it, pop it in. It'll really open some things up for other people. Okay? So, back to the dreaming weekends. I committed to 1 year at a time, once a month, to go to the 3-day dreaming weekends that happen to be held in San Diego. What a blessing. That's where I lived. And the money showed up every month. Sometimes there was some fear around it, but I never missed 1 month. Why is this powerful? Why am I sharing this? I'm not sharing this because I'm so cool. I'm sharing this because my whole life, my program was lack. I'm sharing this so that somebody can see how to dismantle the lack program, which is one of the number one programs that the 3D Matrix keeps having affirmed in media, in advertisements. You need this to be happy. You need to buy this. You need the newer car. You need the house. You need the beautiful clothes. It's such a program, and so many people are buying into it. That's why I'm sharing it, to provide some freedom and to understand that there is nothing but abundance. There is nothing but abundance. Now, the reaction to that statement that I just said is either going to be, yeah, you're right. You're right. Look at Mother Earth. Oh my God. I go out every day here in Thailand. There are flowers and dragonflies and butterflies and trees and lushness and water, and there is no lack. If there's lack in your life, it's simply because there's an invitation to figure out where you are still believing in lack. Or maybe if you're struggling, it could be that you are not fully aligned with your soul's mission and purpose yet. And that's okay too. That's nothing to be ashamed about. We've been so programmed with the systems to go to school. Then If you really want to get a better job, you pay for another 4 years to get into the club so we can give you a piece of paper that allows you to be in a little higher club. Doesn't mean you know any more. It doesn't mean you're any better than anybody else. It's a frickin' program so that you can then do what? Give up the best years of your life until you're 65. So then you can become retired. It's all a program. Look at the word retired. That means to recycle being what? Tired. After you just gave up the best years of your life. You see this program that's running? This is why the school system, it is the biggest deception on the planet. Why? There's nothing wrong with educating yourself so you can share things that you're excited about. But in the current school system, or most of them, they teach you what to think. They don't teach you how to think. There's a big reason for that, because they want people to be in the system, working away so that they can tax your money and keep you in that system. Okay, so the reason I'm sharing this isn't so we get all pissed off at the system. No, that lowers our frequency and keeps us stuck in there. The reason we're sharing this is so that we can see and go, okay, if I desire abundance, which is unlimited in my life, then how do I attract that? By doing what I love and sharing what I'm passionate about and trusting in that 100%. Why do I constantly have clients and attract people now when I didn't used to? Because I'm 100% passionate about what I do. I wake up excited about it every day. And what I share with people is truly life-changing, more than anything else I've ever done, more than any other course I've ever paid for, more than any other book I've ever purchased. And I purchased all the spiritual books, all the top ones, all of them, all the New York Times bestsellers. And I would go through and I would read them, and my mind would go, this is really good. This is really good. And I'd get to the end of the book and I'd be like, that's really good. I'm excited. And then I'd go buy the next book and the next book and the next book. And I'd go to the next 3-day seminar. And I'd be all excited for about a week. And then it would wear off. And I'm like, why aren't things shifting? Here's why. And I'm not saying that any of those books that you purchased or any of the courses that you've gone to aren't good or aren't valuable. I'm just stating that none of them taught me the 3 parts, step by step, that are in this book. I'm not tooting my own horn here. I never planned on writing a book. I wrote that book because I had to. Why? Because I had to remind myself to never forget the keys that are in that book. No other books taught me how to go in and heal the wounds, dismantle the programs, dismantle the belief system, and then be consciously aware of the frequency of every single thought, every single word, and the emotion that I put behind those throughout the day. Why do you think I set alarms on my phone? Why do you think I have all my clients that I journey with set alarms until that becomes their default program? Because it works. And if you don't, the 30 to 60 to 80,000 thoughts will come back and you'll realize, oh, I've been having less than thoughts. Oh, I'm in lack. Oh, I'm triggered. I'm in judgment. It's really, really key. You've got to go through this process. And the process is really pretty simple if you're willing to dive in and look at the programs and beliefs that you're running and the automatic triggers. Here's a great reflection right here. Thank you, Joanna. I've been going in circles my whole life. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that authentically. Yes, most of us do, until we can see the program, we can identify the limiting belief and go in and shift it and begin to create our reality consciously every single day, starting first thing in the morning. Okay? So that was really valuable, Joanna. Thank you. I've been going in circles my whole life because we do, because we're programmed to recycle the same things which keep us stuck in the 3D matrix, which is why this is the most important thing that you'll ever do. Inner healing, dismantling the belief system, and then consciously creating your reality every day. That's why I wrote this. We've got to learn this, you know. I'll post a link for this because it's super key. There's a download link for anybody that's interested that may come across and end up seeing this live or watch it. There's a link, a half-price link to download the book. And it's the most powerful process that I know of. It doesn't leave one single step out. It doesn't leave you wanting and needing to go buy the next book. Yeah, you can go buy books and download information on things that you want to learn. But if you want to completely do the inner healing, dismantle your entire belief system, and then only be projecting and focusing on thoughts and words that will magnetize only more of what you desire into your reality, this book is the step-by-step manual to do that. And it took me some time to be able to own it as to how powerful this book is. You know why? Because I was taught that if I say how powerful something is, or that I created something that's so powerful, that that's my ego. So these 3D programs work in more than one way. They keep people from stepping into their power, because if you step into your power, now you're being an egotist. Do you see this? You need to be able to see this, because it keeps people from stepping into their power. I'm in my power most of the time, but I'm in my power from love and kindness. And I'm the first one to assist anybody that needs assistance. I get messages every day from people, and I can't always go through all of them, but I'm giving away all these tools on every live that I do. If you go to my YouTube channel, Portal to Awakening, all my videos are there. You can watch them to assist with the tools in the book, or to help you with abundance or healing or triggers or lack or creating your reality or stepping into your soul purpose. I give it away. Why? Because I understand that if I feel like I need to hold it back, then I'm operating in fear, and I don't believe that there is enough abundance for everybody. This is really, really key. Really key. So, why am I talking about abundance and really understanding that if you're not attracting the abundance that you desire right now, there's a program running? Because I suffered with this my entire life. It's really, really key to understand this. Okay? So the two main pieces of attracting abundance into our life is, number one, identifying the limiting belief and deleting it, and then beginning to wake up every day and going, all right, I'm excited. I'm going to create my reality first thing while my head's still lying on the pillow, before all those thoughts start running again. And I carry into my reality all the past thoughts and beliefs of lack and what I don't like. And every time we wake up out of what we call the sleeping dream, we're at a place of what we call 0 point. 0 point, if you haven't heard that term before, it's a neutral space where we get to create and inject our frequency into our reality to attract more of what we do desire to have into our reality. So whenever we can get to 0 point, and every moment, and we've got so many opportunities every day to come back to 0 point. That's why I have people set alarms on their phone, because it's a reminder. It taps you on the shoulder and it goes, psst, where are you right now? Where's your frequency? What are you focused on? Are you focused on lack? Is there a wound still running? Are you angry? Or are you in fear about what's going on in the external? Well, they keep saying that, the dark ones are going to take over and they want us to take a vaccine. And now they want us to wear 2 and 3 masks. And they want us to get the anal probe. I'm not making this up, people. This is how freaking incredible the dark ones are pushing right now. 1 mask was good enough, even though we all know masks don't work. Now it's 2 or 3 masks you got to wear, even though they don't work. Even though the WHO admitted masks don't work, there's 2 different timelines going. So how do we navigate through this right now at the most exciting and incredible time on the planet in recorded history that we all came here for? How do we navigate through this? It's a shitstorm out there, isn't it? Well, it only is if you're allowing your attention to be distracted by the lower frequencies, which is the television and any media or any of your friends or people that are still sucked into the fear, and they just keep repeating the fear and projecting the fear. Then unplug. I don't allow that in my space in any way, shape, or form. It's not because I'm so great. It's because I have spent over 20 years cleaning my frequency and understanding how I create my reality. And I will not allow anything into my space for more than a couple seconds that pulls my reality down, that is toxic, or that does not come from love. I have a mantra that I invite everybody that I journey with one-on-one to adopt. And you're welcome to adopt this if it works for you. Hopefully you're already running this and you go, yeah, I already own that one. But the mantra is, anything less than love is not acceptable in my reality. Anything less than love is not acceptable in my relationships. Anything less than love is just not acceptable. And I will give people that I'm in relationships with the opportunity. I will mirror them if they come at me projecting their wounds or whatever. I'll calmly and gently say, you realize you're triggered right now? What's that about? Do you want to go deeper into that? And if they're willing to do the work, they'll go, yeah, thank you for bringing that up, without judging me and projecting and making me feel shamed. This is how we get people in our family and relationships to open up. We don't judge them and shame them back. We hold our frequency clean and we go, would you like to look at that? Are you open to shifting that? And they're either going to do one or two things. They're going to go, yeah, I would. Or their ego's going to go, I'm right. Now, why do people think that they're right? And why are they attached to being right? This is really key, really key. Because they have a belief system. It's not theirs. But until they awaken to the fact that their belief system isn't theirs, they've been trained that anything that challenges the belief system triggers the ego. Or let's not even call it the ego. The ego gets a bad rap. I thought years ago that we had to kill the ego. The ego doesn't even really exist. It's just a name for a program that runs and reacts to a defense system that was set up to protect us anytime we're in danger, or if anything challenges our belief system. So the key to our freedom here is to see that our belief system isn't even ours. It's actually our prison. If you get this, it'll shift everything in your life. Our belief system is a prison. Now you might go, well, if I believe that love is the answer in every situation, you are correct. According to my beliefs, I only kept 2 beliefs, that love is the answer in every situation, and that I am an unlimited divine being. The majority of people that I know do not even come close to operating and believing that they are unlimited. This is something I invite you to write down, the word unlimited. Because you are unlimited. But do you truly believe that you're unlimited? The majority of people don't. If you ask the majority of people what they desire, they would either say, I desire to be healthy, if they've got some type of health ailment or whatever. That would be the first thing they'd say. Then the second thing they would say is, I want to have enough money. I want to have a house that's paid off and the car that's paid off. That's it. That's it. That's the program. And there's nothing wrong with that, except that it's a program and it's very limiting. So let's break it down a little farther so you can understand what I'm getting at here. Okay, so you want the money and you want the nice house and the car. That's cool, great. Why do you want the money? Because it provides freedom. Hey, Nancy, great to see you. Because money provides freedom, but what else? Let's go deeper. Money in this current hologram, this current system, where money is the number one program of lack and control. Having money, if we really get to the root of it, having money provides safety. Okay? We all want to feel safe so that we can navigate in this dream and do what we love. Okay? So if I ask people, how much money do you need to feel safe? Then the gears start grinding. Okay? Because we used to say $1 million. Well, that was like 20, 30, 40 years ago. Now $1 million might not even buy a house. So the mind starts thinking, okay, what's enough money? 10 million. But is that really enough? That'll be gone next year. And what if you're doing work around the planet and you want to help all these people in all these other countries that don't have anything? Your 10 million could be gone in one day. Okay. 100 billion. You see how there's never enough money until you understand that abundance is unlimited. When you know that abundance is unlimited. This is a tough one. Or let me retract that statement. This can be a tough one if you've grown up around lack your entire life like I did. But it's super key to be able to see this program. So how does this program operate? how do we see that we're operating in lack? Well, we see that we have fear around money. We don't believe there's enough. We're always strapped. We've only got enough in the bank. You know these stories and these programs. So how do we dismantle them? That's key. We know that we may be holding lack. What's the solution? That's what I'm about. That's what I would like you to take away from this. Okay? So what I did was, first of all, I had to identify the programs, and then I had to dismantle them. Just identifying that we have judgments, that doesn't dismantle them. The people that I journey with, I have them track and keep track of every single judgment, every single less than thought. And then they fill out a sheet at the end of the day of how many times they noticed that they were judging, or they had a fear or a doubt or shame or guilt or a less than 3D thought. It's a really amazing way to dismantle your less than beliefs and programs. Because if you don't begin to dismantle them, they're just going to keep coming back. So when we talk about money, how did I begin to dismantle my fears and my subconscious beliefs around lack? Well, I first had to notice them. Then I had to begin to see what the truth really was about our reality. Yes, the truth is there is a program running in the media and the controllers that want you to be in lack. They want to control that, and they've done a very good job about doing that for thousands of years. But the exciting and wonderful part is that is shifting right now. It's all being busted and dismantled. The entire money system is being dismantled as we speak. And as far as I know, it's been dismantled to where very soon we're going to be moved into a global situation where everybody has all they need: med beds, money, and everything else. The IRS has been dismantled thanks to one amazing person in the United States. I'm not there right now, but I am from the US. And so many, many, many good things are happening right now that you will not see on the news yet, but you can start to see it with people that are paying attention and sharing high frequency information. We're creating the shift. We came here for this. Okay? So I began to see and affirm everywhere in my reality where there's abundance. Okay, what's the first thing that I can affirm that is infinitely abundant right now in my reality? For me, that was the fact that my heart is beating in every moment without me having to even pay attention to it. What a huge gift of unconditional love. So I've got unlimited heartbeats for as long as I'm here. That's priceless. That's worth more than any car, any house, any new dress or clothes or, anything I want. Okay? Well, the ego mind can go, wow, everybody's heart's beating. I want money. I need money. Okay, you just missed the whole gift. You've got to start with acknowledging the proof that there is unlimited abundance happening all the time. If you allow the ego to go, no, there's not, then you lose. You lose. So you're either open to what I'm sharing right now, and I'm telling you, it is one of the ways out. This is the way out. Begin to only focus on abundance. I'll say that again for Jeff so he can hear it again. Make sure that you only focus on and affirm abundance every day and be excited about it. Yeah. And that's what I do every day. I didn't used to, but I do now because it changed everything for me. I'm excited about waking up every day. I'm excited that I have unlimited heartbeats. I'm excited that I can take unlimited breaths. I'm excited that I have unlimited energy. I'm excited that the most incredible people show up in my reality every day. Every day. They do. Why? Because I say that every single day and I focus on it. So they do. I have an unlimited amount of clients. I have an unlimited amount of animals showing up every day. I do the Wild Jungle Dog series. Some of you may have seen that on my Facebook page. I go around and I have dogs adopt me into their families, and we hang out and have fun. I see butterflies and dragonflies and birds and dogs and animals and every single day they're there. Plants. It's just abundance, abundance everywhere I look. I live in heaven. There is no other planet that I've ever seen in any picture or image that is more abundant than Mother Earth. Never seen it. Never seen it. There's no other planet that I want to go to that's better than this. Yeah. I love the wild dogs too, because they're my greatest teachers. Man, they're so great. Yeah, you can see their little programs that they run too. But their main program is love. Unless they need food or something, they're always curious. They're always curious and they're always loving. Such great teachers. So everywhere I look on planet Earth, I see abundance. I see some programs of lack where people in societies have been manipulated into lack, but I see abundance everywhere. I've seen pictures of these other planets, 5D. They got a couple of towers and some spaceships flying around. I don't see the plant life, the lushness of Mother Earth, the waterfalls. Give me Mother Earth any day. I'm not going anywhere. I came here for this, and I'm just getting started. So, another thing, in this moment, I'm so grateful. There's 14 people on this call, and we've been going over an hour. Time doesn't exist, but I'm grateful that this is resonating with people, because to me, these are the important tools. I've paid over $100,000. This is coming from a guy that never had any money, but I paid over $100,000 to try and figure this stuff out. And I had to figure it all out on my own. There were little bits and pieces, but nothing spelled it out step by step like this book does. Nothing did it for me. Yeah, when I met Miguel, he got me to look at my belief system. That's what I got from Don Miguel Ruiz. Yeah, the 4 Agreements is great. It's good. But if you don't go in and undo the wounds and the automatic judgments and triggers, he didn't teach me how to do that. But he did open the door when I looked at my belief system and I went, these beliefs aren't even mine. What the hell? But everybody's judging to anything that challenges their belief system. And you got to be able to see that program, because if you don't, your ego will justify it till the day you die. So to me, this is priceless. This is priceless. To go on a one-on-one journey with me is priceless. Is that egotistical for me to say that? No, because it's true. And we have fun. And we dismantle what some people call the wounds and dark night of the soul. Why'd they name it Dark Night of the Soul? I wonder. Maybe because they don't want you to go there, because that's the last place they want you to go. I'm talking about the dark controllers, people that created religion. They don't want you to go there, because then you'd wake up and you'd be free and they couldn't have control over you anymore. So yeah, when people go on a one-on-one journey with me, they get this every day, and I mirror them, and we go in and we dismantle this stuff like that. No quicker way to do it that I know of, unless you have a spontaneous awakening. And so my joy, my passion, aside from playing music and playing with the dogs and being in nature, and hanging out with great people, having conscious conversations. Those are the only conversations I'm even interested in. I don't even want to have conversations with people if they're not about that, or if they're not about how great things are. And it's not phony. Yeah, I'll go down the rabbit hole with anybody. But if somebody has an issue, we go right to it. We're not going to talk about how bad, we're not going to focus on how negative it is. We're going to go right into it and we're going to fix it and clear it. Boom. This is 5D. This is New Earth. This is the invitation. This is why we're here. This is why we came here. Do you realize it's no mistake that you're on this call right now? Do you realize it's no mistake that you're on this planet right now? It's not. It's time to get real frickin' excited. And that's why I do this every Monday and Wednesday. And I even do it sometimes on Friday or Sunday or whenever. I do it whenever I feel like, do I have something that I can share that's inspiring? When I see people out there that are being triggered, being scared, being afraid of vaccines, afraid of masks, afraid of being judged, afraid of standing up, then I go, okay, well, do I have something to offer? And there's times when I don't feel like I have anything to offer, or I feel like, oh, I'm saying the same thing over and over. People might get tired of it. No, I just talk to Jeff then. Because Jeff is prone to feeling lack or fear or get triggered. Doesn't mean that stuff doesn't happen. It just means that I've installed the tools to where I catch it. I feel the frequency of any and every low vibrational thought. I come right back and I clear it now. I do not allow it to run. And this is the invitation. I'm going to do a side note really quick for Sherry Ann. Jeff, I paid for your book but did not receive it. How can I reach you? Send me either an email to portal2awakening@protonmail.com, or send me a private message, and either I or my assistant will make sure that you get the book sent out to you within the next 24 hours. Okay? Awesome. So, does anybody have any questions about anything we've covered? Thank you, Nancy. I love you. I appreciate that. I take that in. You know, you're an amazing teacher. And everybody's my teacher. And everybody's our teacher, especially the people that we judge or that trigger us, like family members or people that aren't awake yet. It's great. You know why? Because they're our mirrors. They're us. That's a difficult one. Well, let me rephrase that. See, I catch the frequency of what I say. I was going to say that's a difficult one. You know what that means? That means that it makes it difficult. So I caught it. I felt the frequency of it. It wasn't in alignment. I'll rephrase it. It may be difficult for us if we believe it. Meaning that statement that everybody is us. Because if we're not at that level yet, we could go, well, I'm not a pedophile. I'm not a murderer. I'm not deceiving everybody. I'm not Bill Gates. No, you're not. But they're perfectly playing their role to wake people up. And so here's another big key. I love you too, Nancy. Thank you so much. I received that fully. Look at this, receiving messages like this. I never used to receive messages like that, you know? But that's what I send out to people now too. So it just comes around. When you make being kind and loving to everybody your number one goal, and when you make your mantra, thank you, thank you, thank you, and you carry that thank you with you every day, your life will shift into one of magic and miracles. And you thank especially the ones that you don't necessarily like. Okay? That means the Bill Gates, the pedophiles, the deceivers, the political people that got hijacked somehow, and they're just filled with hatred, and they're trying to manipulate and control people, and they're sacrificing children. Horrible stuff. Well, we can't be carrying resentment or hatred towards them. Why? Because guess who's carrying that frequency? You. And what happens if you're carrying a frequency of hatred, resentment, or judgment? It lowers your frequency, it keeps you in 3D, and you magnetize more of that into your reality. Why? Because every thought, every word, and every frequency and the emotion that we put behind that is what? It's a magnet. We are magnetic beings, and we are magnetizing our reality to us in every single moment, whether we are consciously aware of it or not. Greatest tools I've ever learned. Totally life-changing. Every thought, every word is a magnet. What are you magnetizing more of into your reality? The only way you can know is to become consciously aware of the frequency of every thought, every word, and every emotion. Now, why do I say it's important to become aware of the frequency of thoughts, words, and emotions? This is key. Because there's 50 to 80,000 thoughts running subconsciously all the time for most people. So if you're not consciously aware of the thought, how are you going to dismantle it? This is key. I don't know who else is teaching this, but everybody needs to learn this. You paying attention, Jeff? So, if we're not consciously aware of the underlying beliefs or wounds or childhood trauma, then how do we catch them? By tracking the frequency. By realizing when we're feeling low or less than, or in shame, or in guilt, or in fear, or we don't want to stand up for ourselves, or we don't want to speak our truth. There's a frequency to that. It's called the suck frequency. It sucks. It feels low, it brings you down, and it makes you contract. It's a lie. It's not who you are as a sovereign, divine, unlimited, magnificent, multi-dimensional being. How many people here truly believe right now that they are not only unlimited? I talked about that before. Many people do not believe they're unlimited. This is really key to write down and begin to play with. I don't know how many of you keep a journal. I don't know how many of you, when you hear something, you go, I need to write that down. But I write this stuff down. And it's one of the things I use my phone for the most. I use it as a notepad. I'm like, all right, you better write that one down. That's a good one to dive into. And this stuff comes to me all day long. And stuff to share on these lives. And stuff to dismantle for Jeff. Because conscious awareness is the only game in town. There is nothing more important than raising your conscious awareness to where you are able to only operate as a sovereign, divine, unlimited being. And how does a sovereign, divine, unlimited being operate? They operate in 100% love, 100% joy, 100% excitement, 100% gratitude, 100% abundance, and 100% compassion for themselves and anybody else that might not be there yet. And 100% forgiveness for anyone and everyone This is key. I'll leave you with this. And anybody have any questions, pop them in now. I'll stay on for longer if you want, but I'm getting ready to wrap because I just unleashed a lot of energy and I can feel that my body's starting to go into low energy a little bit. And it's morning here, so I need to get some high vibrational food and drink into my body. But I'll stay on a little longer if anybody has any questions, because this has been a powerful download. So the last one that I'm going to talk about is forgiveness. This is key. When I take somebody on the journey one-on-one, or I do sessions with them, or the process in the book, which you can grab right now for half price at the website, instant download. And it's got the daily tracking sheet PDF on page 23. You can instantly download that and begin to use that and fill it out every evening before you go to bed. I promise you, it'll get you to start to see and dismantle the programs faster than anything else I've ever found. Yeah. Go to portal2awakening.com. There'll be a link right there at the top of the page. You can download the book and then go in and download the daily tracking sheet. Go out and get yourself a clicker. Whoops. Everything's backwards, just like in the hologram on my screen. Start to track every judgment, every less than thought. Until you do it and dismantle it, it'll keep running. Now, you could consider that really sucks, because it is painful. It does suck. But there is also a beautiful part to that on our soul's journey, it'll keep bringing back the same things to us over and over and over in life and relationships until we get it. So it keeps compassionately and gently. Sometimes we can say that it really sucks. It's rude. It's mean. It's harsh. It's painful. But on the soul's journey, it'll keep mirroring back to us all our judgments, all our wounds, all our trauma until we clear it. So, okay, Nancy, tell them to send me a private message and we can do that. Okay, so forgiveness. Super key. Ask yourself this question if you want to. You don't have to, but I invite you to, because this is really key. Do I have anyone or anything left to forgive? You can close your eyes or whatever and just go, do I have anyone or anything that happened to me in my life or that's currently in my life to forgive? Don't forget to include yourself. Do I have anything that I need to forgive myself for? Am I holding any shame, guilt? Fuck, I wish I would have done something different. Oh my God. Okay. All right. So cool. So if there is anything that you've yet to forgive, it probably came up. In some cases, it'll come up later. People reach out to me when they're journeying with me and they go, oh my God, we're 3 weeks into the journey and something just came up from 8th grade that I hadn't even thought about in 20 years. Okay, no problem. The beauty of our higher self and our soul's journey is these things will eventually come up when they're supposed to, and time doesn't exist, so it doesn't really matter when they come up. The only thing that matters is when they come up, we feel it and we go, oh, okay, there's something to clear. And then we clear it with the tools and we go right back to being excited and in gratitude. And we just start attracting more incredible people, more incredible situations, more incredible animals. We start infusing our food and our drink and everything that we drink. And this is kind of brown because I'm drinking cacao powder. We have raw cacao here at the retreat center, Maladara, where I live and teach here in Thailand. So forgiveness. Is there anybody left to forgive? You'll know it. Write it down in a journal. Write it down. Then yes, the tools are in my book. There's nothing left out in the book. Otherwise, what would be the point of writing the book? Yeah, it covers the entire healing process, the entire dismantling the belief system process, and then the entire consciously creating your ideal desired reality every day and clearing out anything that stands in the way. It's 3 parts. And if any process doesn't include that, then it's not a complete process, in my humble opinion. So, any final questions? Okay, we have one from Valentina. I'll get to that in a second. So, on forgiveness, final notes. If there's anybody left to forgive, write it down. If they're alive or they've passed on, it doesn't matter. They're not the ones holding the frequency. You are. So whether they accept your apology or not, it doesn't matter. You are only responsible, and the only thing that matters is that you clear and heal your frequency so you don't attract any more sticky people, lack of forgiveness, lack of abundance because you haven't forgiven. Any low frequencies that you're holding are going to affect your health, your abundance, and the people that you attract in your life and your relationships, period. But the beauty of it is it's that simple. So when we clear it up, we only begin to attract abundance, wonderful, consciously aware people and loving people into our life, and health, because we're loving on every cell every day. You're doing that, aren't you? Everybody on this call I know is talking to their body every morning while they're still laying in bed and loving on every cell, every trillions of one of these cells that's consciously loving you unconditionally right now. And we've been on this call almost an hour and a half, and they've been loving on you every single second, purifying your blood, beating your heart, processing trillions of cells so that we can process this information in real time, going through, I'm talking on a $10 computer on the other side of the world. It's not even plugged into the wall. Hello. Are you seeing what's going on here? And I'm talking through thin air to supposedly 14 people all over the world that are understanding what I'm saying right now in real time, even though we might be in different time zones. How am I getting to you that quick when you're millions of miles away? Could it be that you're not millions of miles away? Hello. Are we having fun yet? Playing in this magical field, getting excited? And magnetizing everything that we desire because we're excited. I love it. I love it. So, okay. So, to finish on forgiveness, you must forgive every single person. And then you'll know when you've really forgiven somebody, when you can thank them for perfectly playing their role on your soul's journey. It's all part of the soul contract. When you wake up to this realization, you start to thank people for being your greatest teacher. Now you know you're awake and you're clearing some shit if there's anything left to clear. And now you know that your magnet is tuned to love, gratitude, healed, excitement, joy. Yeah. Way to go, Nancy. Nancy Colville, she's a rock star. She went through my course, and she also did a testimonial on my website if you want to check that out. Because yeah, this stuff works. So I'll finish with this. You know that you've forgiven somebody 100% when you can thank them. Then you know you're clear when you think about them and you go, thank you. Now you know you've completely cleared that frequency. Let me add in one thing that's very important, because I do journey with people that have had horrific things happen to them, like happened to me when I was a child. Some people have been raped, molested. They've had people murdered in their family. I'm not suggesting that you should thank the person that raped you, or no, but you do need to forgive them because they were wounded. And for some reason, you guys had a soul contract. Maybe you did that to them in another lifetime. I don't know. All I know is We create our reality through frequency and vibration. So we cannot be holding any wounds, any resentment, any of that, any anger. We can't. So I think I've made that clear. Okay, this is a great question here. What do you feel about low vibrational words or cussing? Because I did cuss, I think 3 times, because I get excited. It is the intention behind it. It is the intention behind it. When I went to Catholic school, I was taught that I would go to hell for a million lifetimes if I ever cussed or I ever thought about the opposite sex. Those are lies. Words don't mean anything more than the intention or the program or the spell behind them. When we're consciously aware, you say, fuck yes. Now, I don't say this around my mom. I don't say this very often. The only time I cuss is if I'm alone or if I'm doing one of these broadcasts. Because sometimes I'm on fire and I deliver a little bit more potency with one of those words. If you've been brought up to believe that these words are evil, then I invite you to look at that. If that's your truth and you want to hold on to that, then it's okay. But it's the intention behind the words and the way that they're used. I refrain from cussing a lot because the majority of these cuss words has an energy around them that can tend to be a little bit heavy. But when I use them, I know when I'm using them, I know what energy I'm putting around them. And also, it's great that we get to explain this right now with your beautiful question. So some people might be able to dismantle a little bit more of this. I use my hands a lot, dismantling. I'm a funny guy, you know? So thank you for asking that question, because that's very valuable. Anything else? I think we're good, unless anybody has any questions. Thank you for this reflection, Fiona. You are fun to be around. You're fun to be around. Like energy. Yeah, here's another good one. I prefer the energy of excitement over resistance. Yeah, they're complete opposites. Resistance is totally closing down and totally magnetizing more of that which you're being resistant to. Highly magnetizing more. Judgment is resistance. Anger, all low vibrational frequencies are resistance. Excitement is the highest frequency that will attract more of what you're excited about. So get excited about money, get excited about health, get excited about all the amazing people in your relationships, get excited about the fact that the planet is shifting into free energy, med beds, and we won't even need med beds after a while. Med beds are just like the next opening things, so we all agree that that's a possibility. The next step after that will just be, I'm healed, and you'll be healed. Because every thought creates your reality. It's just that the collective and a lot of us don't believe that we can heal ourselves yet. So there is so much good that's going to be revealed very soon. So get excited about that. Hold that frequency. We're on at 133 minutes right now at 11 a.m. I could stay on to 11:11, but that would just be playing with the numbers, and we've already done enough here today. So I want to thank everybody that stayed on here this long. I'd like to thank everybody that supported the things that I share. I was going to say WORK, but I don't like to use that word because it's got a very heavy frequency to it. So thank you. And thank you to everybody that shares these broadcasts with people, because these are the tools, you know? And the sooner that we share these, I don't know anybody that wouldn't want to use these tools. These are the keys to freedom and abundance and health. So feel free to share it. Feel free to share the book. If you want, buy it for somebody. You know, you can get the book for half price. You can get it and share it with somebody for the cost of going out to lunch. If anybody's interested in going on the 30 or 60 or 90-day one-on-one journey, There's a thing scrolling down below, portal2awakening.transform. I only journey with 4 or 5 people a month because it takes up all my time, you know. But if it's right for you, reach out, go to the link, answer the few simple questions on there. And if you really want to do it, we'll get on a quick call and you'll know if you want to do it. Thank you, Gindo. Thank you for everybody that showed up. Thank you, Valentina. Thank you, Roseanne. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Davia. Thank you, Angelica. Thank you, Julie, Fiona, everybody. Sherry, Bjorn Dallin. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Yeah. Susan, Michelle, Zana, Gindo, Linda, everybody. Much love, and have an incredible day or evening wherever you're at. And I'll be back on Wednesday. Have an incredible day. Much love, and stay excited. You can feel it, right? You can feel it. All right? That's the highest frequency. So go forth and magnetize. I'm going to go magnetize an incredible day of Mother Nature, getting my feet on the ground, incredible animals, playing music, great food, drink, and connecting with incredible people all over the world. You can do it too. All right. I should have popped this up earlier. And also, I've learned to do this. If you've benefited, because normally I wouldn't do this. If you've benefited from these transmissions and you'd like to donate, you know, for the time that I put out and my internet and the time I spend before and after these transmissions to get prepared for them, you're welcome to donate. There's a link. There's no obligation. And yeah, stay in abundance, stay in an abundance mindset, and stay excited. All right, everybody. Much love and gratitude from the bottom of my heart. Yeah. Have an incredible day.